Good morning. Hope you're off to a good start today. Whenever you're watching this, hope you have a great week. So I want to share something from Philip Yancey from Grace Notes. He talks about having writer's block, and I kind of get that. I understand that, just not knowing where to start or sometimes just getting started, but he wondered if God ever had that. And so he goes through Scripture and he chronicles all the times that God wrote something. Well, it starts with the Ten Commandments because it says that they're actually written with the finger of God in stone. Wouldn't it be cool to see them? Well, yeah, that's I think why they did the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, because they wanted to find those stone tablets. And by the time Moses came down from Mount Sinai, they had already broken the first two, and then he broke the tablets altogether and they had to get new ones. The second time God wrote was in the book of Daniel, where King Belshazzar had profaned the gold goblets that were taken from the temple in Jerusalem. And he should have known better, is bottom line. And this hand appears, the handwriting on the wall. If you ever heard the expression, that's where it comes from. Many, many tekel parson. You've been weighed and been found wanting in the balance. And that very night, the kingdom was taken away from him. There's also one occurrence where Jesus wrote. Remember the story? There's a woman who's caught in the very act of adultery, and these religious zealots, these people that they're not good people. It's a trap, and they're using this woman, and they throw her out there and say, the law says she should be stoned. And they're putting Jesus to the test here. Well, of course, under Roman occupation, they didn't have the right to exercise capital punishment. Rome did. Rome was very good at it, and many of the early Christians were put to death by the Romans. But the Jews didn't. So is he going to violate the law? What was Jesus going to do? But of course, Jesus said, first, he bends down to the ground and he writes something. We don't know what he wrote. And people have been speculating, liar, thief, gossip. Who knows what he was writing? Was it the sins of the people there? Who knows? Maybe he's just buying himself some time, but I would love to know what he wrote. But then he says, if any of you is without sin, let him be the first one to throw a stone. So the trap was sprung. But it was on the people that tried to get him. It was back at the accusers. And the reign of grace was born. Do you see the shift that we've got here? From the Ten Commandments to Jesus writing on the ground to if you're without sin, then you can throw the first stone. The movement from law to grace, a powerful one. From Old Covenant to New Covenant. I love what it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 3. It says, you show that you are a letter from Christ. That's us as followers of Christ. We are a letter. And you might be the only Bible, so to speak, that anybody reads today. Think about that. You might be the only Bible that anybody reads today. So it goes on to say that you are a letter from Christ, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of human hearts. God is writing on our hearts and on our souls. And so the progression here is you've got the Father, Son, and the Spirit. They're all involved in this writing process. And I love what Ephesians 2:10 says, that we are his poema, we are his poetry. Collectively, we make that, but individually, we too are his masterpiece. I love what Yancey says in closing. After surveying scenes of God's writing, I no longer felt so burdened. Composing words on paper is one thing. Creating sacred works of art on fickle human hearts is an entirely different story. But that's what God's doing, is he is writing a sacred work of art on our souls. And then as he writes on us, we have something to offer other people. God bless you. Have a great week.